All right, there he goes again. Mark Zuckerberg facing some backlash for having the audacity to meet with conservatives. Now he is speaking out, and I quote here, "To be clear, I have dinners with lots of people across the spectrum on lots of different issues all the time. Meeting new people and hearing from a wide range of viewpoints is part of learning. If you haven't tried it, I suggest you do." Charlie Gasparino on the heat that's generated.
Yeah, we should point out that Mr. Dorsey, Jack Dorsey of Twitter, did similar outreach about a year ago. So in some ways he's late to the game because there is a overwhelming belief among conservatives that these social media platforms in various ways are biased against conservative thinkers, thought, and that it's all skewed to pushing out stories with a much more of a progressive agenda. Whether that's true or not, I can't tell you. But people do believe this. So it makes sense that they reach out to conservatives because they want conservatives to use their platforms as well. I think the bigger problem, particularly for Facebook, less Twitter, because I think Twitter is just, I think that is much more of an open system, to be honest with you. But the bigger problem for Facebook is the guy running it. And I think across the board, it's almost the same thing. None of these guys are very good spokesmen for their companies, public figures for their companies, given the level of regulation they're facing from both parties. I mean, just Mark Zuckerberg makes, I'm not saying he is a villain, but he's easily villainized, and he's not very.
Well, the rap on him, he's all IQ, no EQ, no kind of finesse with this, and it takes a lot of finesse.
And he's going to have to finesse Congress, the public, to make them believe that he should have people's private information. I would say the same thing with Mr. Bezos. He's got to get out there. I don't know whether he can do it or not. I would say the same thing for the guys running Google. Down the line, these are folks that are going to have to up their PR game because what's coming at them is almost what went after the banks. See, when the banks had this back in 2000, after the financial crisis, Lloyd Blankfein, who ran Goldman Sachs, was demonized viciously for 2 years, 3 years. I mean, it caused massive regulation of the banking industry. The banks didn't get out of it until the shift in focus to a public figure switched from Lloyd Blankfein to Jamie Dimon, who is an appealing public figure, and he ran a good bank.
And that makes a difference.
And that makes
Stuff
a difference.
Like that makes a
don't
difference.
know who in the tech world is the Jamie Dimon of tech that can get up there and with forcefully and eloquently lay out tech.
But would things have been different if he met, let's say with both together? He's met with liberals, he's met with conservatives. Right. Dorsey, as you indicated, met with liberals and conservatives. The conservative one got attention because he was addressing criticism from the right that he was biased on the left. Obviously, Zuckerberg takes the same heat. But does this really move the needle one way or the other? People are suspicious of you on the right, they're going to be. If people are leery of you on the left, they're going to be, no matter what you do.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're too late to the game. I mean, I think Jack Dorsey did it a year ago. I think Twitter fixed some of its issues. And I think...
But see, you just distinguish the difference here. He fixed some of those issues.
And he's more of an appealing public figure. I mean, Jack Dorsey, if he gets in front of people, I can tell you he's a pretty smart, warm, intelligent guy.
Like you.
Like me. And
warm, fuzzy.
And I'm starting to get some facial hair like him. But
But this is what happens just an hour after you shave, right?
I took 1 day off and I said, what the hell? Let me take it. Let me keep it. Let's see what happens. Sure. But Neil, I can't stress this more. I mean, there's bigger issues than just a conservative bias and all this other stuff. They are facing such massive regulations and people.
But the right wants to get them on that. The left wants to get them on too big for their britches, right? So they can't win.
And there's no public spokesman for these companies. I mean, maybe Sheryl Sandberg can step into the void. We don't know. She hasn't yet. I'm surprised she hasn't taken the public mantle as just because she's an appealing figure, with all her with some of her other issues that she did the whole book about lean in and I mean I'm surprised she hasn't stepped up because they're going to have to, if they don't have a game plan here from a public relations standpoint, and listen, I'm on the journalism side, but I deal with a lot of PR people. They are going to get smoked in the next 5 years.
You know what I've heard? A lot of them think that there's going to be political hay to be made in election year, ahead of election year. In the end, no one really wants to develop laws or requirements or regulations.
Well, Elizabeth Warren does, obviously.
Obviously, I'm not dismissing that, but they don't think anything comes of it. The other thing that worries them more is the breakup issue. Whether you're breaking up Facebook, whether you're breaking up Google, that is a more pressing concern.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is an issue too. I mean, listen, we should point out that they are rationalizing all this a lot. If you talk to people at Google, you talk to people that in senior levels at those companies, which I have been, they're rationalizing a lot of this. They don't think the worst is going to happen. They think we're going to get through this like they got through it in the past. I would say,
and they have, because the stuff is going on. Look at Facebook stock. Year to date, it's up more than 40%.
Right.
With all this craziness.
Suppose they're forced to get rid of
If they are. See, I think they're rolling the dice, and they don't think that it'll ever come to that.
Well, they are. You see, the problem with that is, yes, it's. I'm not saying it's going to happen,
right.
But the problem with that thinking is that's underestimating the politics. They are not.
Right,
they are not good at politics. These companies. They do not. They're out in Silicon Valley. They're in their cloistered little subdivisions or whatever they live in.
But they have to be a little bit. Not taking political sides here, but they would have to be, even if they're far left, a little alarmed with some of the stuff that Elizabeth Warren is saying.
Listen, look at their campaign contributions. If you look at the people that work at these companies, it's heavily,
I understand,
it's heavily left.
But when they talk about 90% top right.
I know, but look at their PAC contributions.
Right.
Very much split. They give to a lot of conservatives. So they are taking.
Do you think in their heart of hearts they don't want an Elizabeth Warren to win?
I don't know. I don't know what they think.
I think you know.
I don't think they know what they want. Okay. I mean, they're uncomfortable with Trump for obvious reasons. Right. They're all liberals, every one of these guys. But they know that Elizabeth Warren and the far left of the Democratic Party provides the real existential strength. The real question is there ever, even if you have an Elizabeth Warren presidency, is there some compromise that's worked with Republicans to downsize big tech that hurts their stock? And that's a real possibility.
She hasn't always been this way. People forget.
No, but suppose she works with a Republican Senate and says, okay, let's do something about tech. Let's take them down 2 notches. You don't like them, we don't like them. There's a compromise that can hurt the stock price.
All right. Good seeing you in, my friend.
Thank you.
And this looks very nice.
I think I'm going to keep it for a couple days.
Well, good. That settles a lot of issues I was worried about.
Yeah, okay, great.
Delicious, just delicious.
Does it look like Yasser Arafat, or does it look like
worse?
Who's the guy, the most famous man in the world?
Look at the time. All right, we'll have more. A second hour, probably including Charlie after this.